Okay, so today we are focusing on our back, our triceps, and our shoulders. And again, with a certain goal is going to require a certain way to train these specific muscles, especially when you're doing back and shoulders. These are two big primary muscles. So if your goal is to bulk, you may want to separate the two. What I'm teaching you here is how to do the workouts efficiently, how to create a template. You can substitute and start adding in newer workouts as you get more progressed and more advanced. You can come to the group where I'm putting all the time new content. That way you can start to progress with it. This is teaching you good form with some basic workouts that are going to help build using just dumbbells. But again, this should not be just something that you keep doing over and over. This is a great way to educate on how to breathe, how to do the reps, the rest periods. But at the same time, as you build up strength and you start to endurance yourself, you're going to keep progressing. So you're going to be able to learn more workouts and keep adding and adding. That way it's a journey and you're going on forever for a lifestyle. So the workouts we're going to focus on for our back are going to be the single arm row, the dumbbell deadlift, and a pronated single arm row. And I'm going to explain the difference and the benefits of each individual workout. So let's start with our back. We're going to start with the single arm row. So again, I'm using 15-pound dumbbells just because I want to make sure that I can focus on good form, still maintaining that 15 rep count. Again, you're going to slowly start to gradually play with that. The more you start to educate, if you're looking to put on more muscle mass, you might want to lower that rep count, enhance the weight. So there's a lot of ways to play with it. So for now, we're going to do the 15 rep count, focusing on good structured form and making sure the breathing is sound and matching the movement. So the single arm row, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on a platform. In my case, I'm going to use a bench. I could be on a box. I could be on anything. Something that's going to help stabilize me. So the way that I'm going to focus on this movement right here, I'm going to grab my dumbbell in one hand. Okay? Make sure you have a strong grip again. So that's why you want to make sure you're doing solid weight. As you start to put heavier weight, things like chalk and wrist straps can start to be a benefit. But for now, we're going to focus on controlled weight, allowing us to get the movement sound. So we're going to start here. What I'm going to do is working my right side. I'm going to establish my left knee on the bench. And I want to keep my left knee directly under my hip. So that way I keep all of my lower back safe. I'm keeping a nice, good, sound platform right here. So my knee's directly under my hip. My left hand is going to posture right in the front. What this does, it creates that table for my lower back. It allows me to keep my back straight. I want to keep my back straight. I want my knee under my hip, so that way I have two solid pillars protecting me during the movement, my hand and my knee. So they're underneath me like a table. So the workout part of it, with my two pillars and my sound controlled frame, again, my back is straight and my stomach should be tight. Remember to keep your stomach tight anytime you're training with weights, just so your lower back doesn't have to work any harder than it needs to, even when we are training the lower back. You still need to keep your abdominal muscles engaged. So here we go. I got my two pillars, hand and knee. I start with the dumbbell directly under my shoulder. And there's a lot of variations to this one. We have different formations, a power row, which is what we're gonna do. And then we also have another row where I bring my elbow more towards my hip. We're not doing that one today. We're gonna focus on the power row. So what I'm literally doing is bringing my elbow straight up and putting it back down. Notice the tempo. I'm not going fast. Think pulling a lawnmower, but slower, okay? So all I'm doing is pulling the lawnmower straight up and I put it straight back down. Because again, because this is a pull workout, as we discussed in the first video, I exhale when I pull. I inhale on the reset. Notice my back stays straight. I don't want the dumbbell to pull me down so that way it sags me underneath. I want to make sure I keep that strong frame. I exhale up and I inhale on the way down. My back should not be moving. We are training the back muscles, so it makes sense that my back has to do all the work, especially on the negative part of the rep, which is coming down. Meaning I don't want to do this. I should not be leaning, I should not be moving. Everything stays stable except the arm in motion. So here we go. We're going to knock out 15 just to kind of get familiar with the form. So I got my pillars, my left knee, my left hand. My back is straight. My eyes are looking straight ahead. And I'm going to go ahead and start the movement. Exhale up. Remember, control the weight on the way up and the way down with the same tempo. That way the back has to work on both aspects of the movement. Let's do about 10 more. Knock out 5 more. Now I'm breathing loud on purpose, just so you know. I don't do that. I'm not that guy in the gym. But I'm breathing loud just so that way you can remember. One more. So that is going to be your single arm row. That's going to really focus on the lat muscle. So you really want to make sure you contract it slow and you put it down slow. That way there's no rocking, no momentum buildup. Everything's coming straight from my back. These are going to be excellent for the outer part of the lats, working our way towards the inside. Also, just topping off right here on the trap muscle. So it's a really good workout. Targets good multiple back muscles. The next one we're going to do is the deadlift. So with the deadlift, there's a lot of variations to it. The number one thing you need to focus on is safety, no matter what. No matter what workout you're looking at, no matter what workout you're doing, safety is number one. And I say that because it's going to be important that you control the correct weight. Again, I got 15 pounds, one in each hand, so I'm doing 30 pounds on this deadlift. So when I'm done establishing myself with the deadlift, I need to make sure that I have my foundation nice and stable, which is my feet width apart to my hips, just like this. I need to make sure that I'm solid, digging my feet straight into the floor. Because when I'm lifting it up, that's what I'm doing. I'm lifting dead weight, so I need to make sure that I'm lifting from the ground up. So from the profile, I want to make sure that I'm stand up, my shoulders are back, good posture. On the deadlift, you typically like to start from the down coming up. So I put the dumbbells directly on the sides of my shoes. I don't want the dumbbells to be in the front of my shoes. If the dumbbells are in the front of my shoes, it's going to kind of make me lean forward a little bit, and it's going to give me that sense of instability. So I want to make sure that I don't have to lean forward with it. They should be straight down, lined up from my ankle to my knee to my hip. Because again, this is what's going to actually be helping a lot with the lift. So I need to make sure I keep them directly under that foundation. My back is straight. My back is straight, so that way I'm not rounding it off. I want to target my lower back. Some good secondary muscles these workouts target are our quads, our glutes. So it's important that we take time with these movements, learn the correct form, especially with this specific one. This is not the only variation of a deadlift. This is just a very universal one to target multiple muscle groups, but back is the primary work. So let's start off, those dumbbells are lined up about mid-foot. Let's start with there, mid-foot. To go down to pick them up, I keep my back straight and I slowly start to bend at the knees and my hips pull back, just like this. Notice my back never rounds out. My legs bend to slowly drop me like a crane and my butt shoots out. My back is straight. I pick up the dumbbells. Chin is up. So on the way up, all I'm going to do is drive my feet straight to the ground and push my hips forward and squeeze my glutes right here as I exhale. And then I go way back down. I do the same thing in reverse. Hips pull back, dumbbells drop back down. That's one rep. Hips forward, shoulders back, chest out, chin in the air. Make sure you have good posture up top and you exhale on the way up. And I go straight back down, keeping the dumbbells lined up with the mid shoe. Exhale up. Straight back down, hips pull back, back is straight. Exhale up. Let's do 6 more. Remember the breathing on the way down, inhale. On the way up, exhale. See how my chest pushes out every time I come up? This makes sure that I'm contracting my back muscles all the way through. Same time I push my chest forward, my hips come forward as I squeeze my glutes. Inhale down, back is straight. Exhale forward, 3 more times. Hips forward, chest forward, 2 more times. 1 more times. No more times. Okay. So some of the main things that you just want to focus on again is make sure your back is straight. That we're not rounding it out. The whole premise of this workout is to target the lower back. And again, you're also working the glutes, so we push our hips forward and squeeze our glutes at the same time. When I posture my chest up, it contracts my back muscles, so that way I'm maximizing the full benefit of the workout from the dropping them to the ground to popping back up. There's a lot of things going on, so take your time, run through this a few times to kind of get familiar with it. the primary part you're going to feel is your lower back, but there's a lot of other muscles that are being activated at the same time. Breathing is important. Do not let the breathing tempo go out of whack. If you start to mess up on the breathing, I put the weight down, reset, catch your breath, and go back to work. Because as you get fatigued, you need to make sure the breathing does not go out the window. And that's going to be your deadlift. From the front view, I'm keeping my shoes hip width apart. I should be able to look up. I'm not looking down as I'm squatting down. I'm keeping everything lined up, putting them down, back up. And the type of dumbbells you have are going to vary on how low I go. Typically, I want to put the dumbbells to the ground. Normally, you'll see those big circle dumbbells. So they're a lot longer than the ones I'm using, which is the hexagon. So you'll see the dumbbell, is probably, 3 inches? As opposed to the circle ones dumbbells, they're a little bit bigger. So they're gonna compensate for that extra inch or two on the way down. If I stop right here with mine, that's about where I go if I keep my back straight. If I put them to the ground, watch my upper back. See how it slowly starts to round off? So for that reason, I'm stopping here, because if you ever seen the deadlift video, typically they hit the floor with the dumbbells, but look at the dumbbells. If they're the circular plates, they give you that extra inch or two to drop them to the floor, which would be great. But to avoid my back rounding out, I'm just stopping just enough, maxing out at the bottom so my back doesn't break form. Okay, so the next one is the pronated row, like I was telling you earlier. So here's the difference between that and the single arm row we did at first. For this one, I'm gonna turn the bench facing you so you can see the profile difference. All right, so for this specific movement, I'm going to change the position of my hand, which is why it's called pronated. All right, so when I'm doing this one, here's the initial row. See how my thumb is facing forward. My thumb is facing forward, and I'm pulling it straight up and down. For the pronated row, what I do is I turn my knuckles out. I turn my knuckles out. Everything right here is the same. I still got my 2 pillars. My back is straight. And now when I row, I'm going to roll my elbow up. Dumbbell comes about chest high, back down. Elbow up, dumbbell chest high, back down. I'm going to get about 8 more and I'll explain why. Exhale up, inhale down. Exhale up, inhale down. 5 more. See how I'm not leaning? I'm not leaning with it. I'm keeping myself stable with these pillars. Back is straight. Stomach is tight. Exhale, elbow up, nice and slow. Dumbbell to chest, back down. Dumbbell to chest, back down. 2 more. So the difference between the row where I'm facing thumb out and the pronated grip row where my knuckles facing out is the muscles that I'm targeting. When I do the regular single arm row, I'm targeting more lat and trap muscle, which is a little bit above by the neck, the connecting muscles from the shoulder to the neck. So I'm doing the row to focus on those muscle groups, primary. When I pronate my knuckles out, I take less off of my lats and traps and I put more focus on the rear delts and the rhomboids. Those muscles are the inner lining muscles from between the spine and the lat. So right in between here, there's another muscle, about right here is called your rhomboids. Lat muscles are right on the sides, the wings that we see people. Bodybuilders, they do these big old poses and they have these nice big old ham hock wings. Those are lat muscles. Those are targeted very specifically. Inside of those, before you hit the spine, there's another connecting muscle. That's called your rhomboid. Just above that, let me see if I can do this, just below these muscles, that's your rear delt. These are all back muscles, and they all need to be pinpointed and targeted individually. So simply by turning the rotation and opening the elbow instead of closing it, it triggers those muscles on the inside. So doing both is just a great way to target both aspects of it, getting that entire general area of the upper back and the lats, combining that with the deadlift, which is going to focus on the lower back. Those 3 workouts, you're going to target the entire backside, which is what we're doing since we only have dumbbells that we're doing these workouts with, so you want to maximize them. These 3 in rotation of 2 to 3 sets, 15 reps as you start to progress, controlling the weight. You're going to feel every muscle on your back being worked out, which is the goal. Safely, but most importantly. Your stomach's tight, do every single movement. You're breathing as you pull or push, exhale, inhale, exhale on the row, When you're coming up from the deadlift, that's the exhale. Doing those sets a few times, it's amazing. You're gonna feel great. These are great. I do these. These are some of my staple workouts I do for my back. So make sure that you're running them through a few times. Form is everything. Form and breathing are more important than any amount of weight you could be lifting. So just take your time and learn them. All right, so those are our back workouts we're focusing on. Now we're gonna shift to the triceps. The triceps is the back arm. It's called a tricep because there is 3 muscles to it. Tri. You have 1, 2, 3. You know the horseshoe that we always hear about? Well, those are 3 muscles that connect to bring it out. Don't worry if you don't have the horseshoe now. That's why we're training our muscles to enhance them. This is a very staple muscle to the arm. A lot of times these muscles right here fatigue way quicker than the shoulder bicep or the forearm. So targeting the tricep is an extremely important part of the muscle to hit because there's 3 aspects to it, whereas the bicep is 2. There's 2 parts of the bicep. The tricep has 3. So 3 of my favorite tricep workouts to do, using the dumbbells are the skull crushers. Fantastic workout, which is the first one we're going to do. Then I have the reverse grip press. This is my favorite one. The reverse grip press is my favorite tricep workout. We'll get to that one as well. And then we have the kickback, which is similar to the dumbbell row. So we're going to first start with the skull crusher. The skull crusher is me laying flat on my back on a bench or anything that allows me to lay flat, preferably a little bit higher up off the floor. So let me start with my dumbbells. So the skull crusher, I'm going to start from the back view. I'll turn it to the side so we can get a couple of angles. The skull crusher starts with me laying straight on my back. The dumbbells are directly over my head, which is why it's called a skull crusher, because if they fell, they would probably crush my skull. If I had to guess, that would be the result. That's probably what would happen. So I'll do a few reps, and then I'll turn around and we'll find some details, and then I'll go sideways. Notice how I stop 90 degree. And I'm pushing on the way up. That's when I exhale. Remember that. Inhale, exhale on the push. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And the dumbbells are lined up right on the sides of my ears. Notice, my arms are bent 90 degree. I exhale up. So from the back, you're noticing I am not moving my shoulder joints. It is a simple bend at the elbow 90 degree, and I extend again. This is the back arm we're working. So if my elbow is moving up and down, I'm taking away the effort of my tricep and I'm putting it more on my shoulders. So I'm focusing on bending 90 and I extend away. 90, extend away. What that looks like from the profile. Let me turn the bench sideways. So from the side view, you're going to see that the dumbbells, again, are directly over my head. When I bend 90 degree, I stop right there. 90, I exhale up, I squeeze the back arm. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. I exhale up, inhale, exhale. See how my lower back is slightly off the ground? I'm not flat on my back. A lot of times I see people do this and it just worries me because that means my back is flat and it's just a lot of pressure on the spine. I can put my feet flat and arch my back, but I just feel a little more grounded when I put my feet on the ground. So again, the dumbbells are over my head. I inhale, 90 degree, exhale. I squeeze the triceps up top. Important to squeeze the muscles when you contract them. Control it down, exhale up, squeeze the back arms. Stomach should be tight the whole time. That never changes. I keep my stomach tight. And those are the skull crushers. Really good work to focus on those back arms. Because this weight is over our head, and probably by yourself for the most part, unless you have a workout partner to spot you, just make sure you're doing controlled weight. Learn the form, get fluent with it, get comfortable with it before you start to enhance the weight too much. That's just, I can't stress that enough. Safety is so important when it comes to weight training. You want to make sure that you're in this for the long haul, not a short-term gain. So please just take your time. The results are going to be there. That's a guarantee. The results are there. Just as long as you're patient, you're consistent, you're focusing on good form, you're making sure the breathing is there, you're stretching, you're following all the guidelines, the results are 100%. They're 100% because this is what the rest of us do. These are the same workouts us professionals do. We just make sure that we're not going and breaking form just to try to do more weight. So do a controlled weight. So that's the skull crusher. Now my favorite tricep workout is, like I said, the reverse grip press. Reverse grip press is from this position. So here's the regular, this is the chest press with my knuckles facing me. You know, this is our chest press right here. For the reverse grip, what I want to do is I'm going to start with my knuckles facing, and I'll turn it around and show you the grips. I start with my knuckles facing with the dumbbells directly over my chest, feet flat to the ground, lower back is slightly out, my shoulders are flat on the bench or the ground. So on the way down, what I do is I rotate my fingers towards my face. As I do that, I bring my elbows down by my ribs as low as they can go till those dumbbells hit me right on my stomach, nice and slow here. Right there. Exhale up, and I put them back where I left them. Fingers facing each other. It is a quarter rotation only and a quarter rotation up, meaning I'm not turning all the way. I'm not doing any rotation here. It starts with my knuckles facing. I rotate down with an inhale, and I exhale up, stopping right up top over my chest, knuckles facing. Let me do 10. You should be doing these with me. That way you can feel exactly what I'm talking about. Let's knock out 10. Inhale down, I rotate, fingers should be facing you. Exhale up, fingers should be facing each other. Inhale, exhale. Keep your stomach tight. Make sure you have a strong grip on the dumbbells. And again, I'm squeezing my back arms up top. The whole time I'm keeping my arms nice and tight. Exhale up, rotating a quarter. Fingers facing you on the way down. Dumbbells stop just before they crack your ribs. Fingers facing over my chest. Fingers facing my face on the way down. Fingers facing each other on the way up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. If you did that with me, I'm certain that you felt the tricep work. A lot of times this could be a misconception of a chest workout. It's not. Do it right now. If you didn't do it with me, you'll see. You're not hitting the chest muscle. These are all about the triceps. It's because of the rotation. The rotation where I'm starting here, when I rotate down and I put it back up. Rotate down, put it back up. This is the range of motion. This is the hand position. Right now, I would be laying upside down. My knuckles would be facing my face. I rotate them over my chest. And I don't like to really touch the dumbbells, just so that way I have full control. I don't want to, boom. I want to control the weight right here and stop them, bring them back in. I mean, it's not a crucial detail. It's just a great way for me to know that I'm in full control at all times. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. And again, I want to get my elbows as low as they can just before those dumbbells hit my body. That way my tricep has a long journey on the way up and a long journey on the way down. And keep them tight to the chest, to the ribs. If my elbows flare out, I'm putting too much pressure on my rotator cuffs. So I keep them lined up here, lined up, lined up, lined up. This, again, is by far my favorite tricep workout. It feels amazing. It's very, very beneficial to target all three heads at once because I'm doing the rotation. Like I said, there's three different muscles in the tricep. I'm targeting all of them with that small rotation. So add this one to it, master it, and make this one of your staples because it's done great things for me and my clients. Fantastic tricep workout. So the third one we're going to do is the kickback. This is a single arm. So when I'm doing the kickback, again, just like we were doing with the row with our back, I have the same two pillars here. That's not changing. My knees under my hip, my hands lined up under my shoulder, and I have a nice strong frame. So instead of my starting point being here, my starting point is here. My elbow is lined up with my shoulder and my grip is strong. Now this is a very demanding movement on the muscle, so I want to make sure I'm doing a safe weight. This may even be one of those workouts where you do a little bit lesser weight than you did for the other triceps, just until you get familiar with your ability and how much you can do from this without breaking the form and without breaking posture. I'm gonna do it with 15. Even that, for me, starts to get tired after a while. So it's important that you understand what movements require a certain amount of weight, because some are gonna allow you to do heavier than others, especially if it's like a deadlift where your legs are involved. Obviously, you're gonna be able to do a lot more weight than like a single arm row, because that's just all back work, and whereas a deadlift, I'm using my legs as well. It's going to be very important that that weight is very safe. Again, use a 15 rep count to determine how much weight you should be lifting. I got my two pillars. My elbow starts right here lined up with my shoulder. My grip is strong. Now all I do is the kick back. Stopping it. Notice what I'm not doing. I'm not moving my elbow with it. My elbow stays lined up. Kick back, 90. Kick back, 90. Kick back, 90. Breathing. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. I'm going the same tempo on the way up as I am down. This will fire off your tricep, and it is brutal. It feels amazingly painful in a good way. So again, keep your breathing under control. Keep your back straight. Make sure you have those platforms underneath you to help stabilize your spine. Keep your back safe at all times, even when you're training your back. That's when it's most important. So keep the breathing under control. Focus on the good form with these reps. Focus on good technique. Again, if you have to go down to lower weight, do that, please. You'll trickle your way back up to the weight that you have in mind as your goal. So just stay safe, especially with some of these ones that require a little bit more focus and attentiveness on your form. Especially when it comes to that one I just did, the kickback. It puts a lot of stress and pressure after a while on the shoulder. So make sure you're doing a weight that you feel comfortable doing, at least 15 times. So we've targeted our back and our triceps. Now I'm going to show you a few workouts to hit the shoulders. Again, if your goal is to build mass, you might want to separate shoulder for its own workout. In that event, I can give you about 3 or 4 more shoulder workouts to create it into its own. But for now, putting this all together gives you a dynamic 30 to 40 minute workout. You're going to feel great. Always, always take the breaks when you need to, no matter what. So make sure that you stay safe with the breathing and the rest periods, drinking water throughout the workout. So let's go to it. The shoulders. We're going to do 3 of them. We're going to start with my favorite one, which is the Arnold press, created by the king himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he kind of knows what he's doing a little bit. Good friend of mine. He's done some things in the weight training realm, so I think it's safe to say if a workout is named after somebody, it's probably a good one. In this case, it's this one specific, the Arnold press. So what I'm doing with that one, now for the Arnold press, or most shoulder workouts, I can sit down or stand up. I'm going to sit down just so that way I can stay visible in the camera. I'll do it from the front, then I'll turn to the side. So when I'm doing this one, I've got my knees lined up hip width apart with my shoes directly under them, keeping a good base for my hips, and my back is straight. The dumbbells are going to start right here in the front, fingers facing you. See, my knuckles are out, my fingers are inside. So dumbbells are touching right in the center of my chest. On the way up, I exhale because I'm pushing, and I'm going to do a 180 rotation. And I come back down inside. They're touching. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. From the side. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Elbows stay tight, grip stay strong. Keep my back straight, keep your stomach tight, keep you grounded from the floor up. So my feet are flat, hip width apart. Exhale, inhale. Keeping my elbows lined up, dumbbells touch. Exhale, inhale. Again, do a weight safe just because our shoulders have a lot of different muscles there. There's a lot of 3 different rotator cuffs. So there's a lot of little muscles, little tendons connecting here. Very important that when you're doing any movement where it's coming overhead, that you stay safe, especially when you factor in multiple muscles built in one. So I like the rotation because it targets multiple muscles in one. And since we're doing dumbbells, we're condensing these workouts. It's just great to add those rotations when it's necessary. For the Arnold, it is a beautiful movement. Exhale, inhale. So that's the Arnold. I can do that sitting or standing. Just make sure you keep your good posture, keep your hips under you, back is straight, chest pushed out, and your breathing tempo remains consistent. Second one is the shrug. This one is pretty self-explaining. I'm standing up tall. Let me scoot back a little bit, get this guy out of here. So the shrug, I got the dumbbells lined up in my hip pockets. My feet are hip width apart. From the side, notice my chest is popped out. I need to make sure I have maintained good posture. I want to avoid rolling my shoulders. Keep your chest pushed out, shoulders back. And on the shrug, I like to go straight up and down. You'll see variations where people do the rolling. Like I was saying earlier, there's so many tendons and little muscles involved. I don't want to put any extra work that they need to do, especially because we're going to be doing repetition for the shoulders. I don't want to put myself at risk for injury. I've seen it happen. The rolling, there's many other workouts you can do to avoid having to roll on a shrug. Let the shrug be its own workout. This is a very powerful movement. What we're targeting is our trap muscles. This connects right here from our neck to our shoulder. It's a very important muscle in our body. It helps to strengthen our neck, and it just helps to strengthen our overall upper body mass, upper back. So this is an important movement. So I don't want to add any extra movements to it. I'm going straight up, straight down. Again, dumbbells stay lined up in the hip pocket. Feet are shoulder width apart. Chest is pushed out. I exhale up, inhale down. Exhale up, inhale down. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Facing the front, chest is pushed out. Exhale, inhale. I'm bringing my shoulders up towards my ears, back down. What I'm not doing is bending my arms. So when I'm shrugging, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing any movement or bending in my arms. My arms are dead weight holding the dumbbells. The whole lift comes from my shoulders, right in my trap muscles. Exhale up, inhale down. Again, I'm keeping myself nice and stable with a good base, hip width apart, chest forward, shoulders back, chin up. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. That's the shrug. Great workout. These are two great workouts that complement each other, the Arnolds and the shrugs. Third one is the lateral raises. Lateral raises, this is one that I would definitely recommend a lower weight. For that reason, I'm going to go down to the 10-pounder. So the lateral, and there's variations. I can lateral raise to the front or to the side, no problem. These are really good to target the rotators specifically. So again, make sure you're doing a weight that is very, very controlled, not as heavy as the ones that you were doing for these two power movements for the shrugs and the Arnold presses. We're going to target the rotators. Again, these are simple, basic workouts. I like to do one side at a time so that way I can make sure I stay lined up. I usually put my hand on my hip. It's just a great way to center balance myself. And I'm just going to bring the dumbbell straight up, bring it to my arm as high as my shoulder. Back down. Notice what I'm not doing. I'm not leaning. I'm not leaning so that way I can make the shoulder rotator work by itself. Exhale, inhale. Again, the tempo remains the same coming up as it does coming down. I don't want to lift, swing it. That's just pulling and tearing, and I just want to avoid injury. To be safe at all times, control the weight, both on the negative aspect of it and the lift or push. So again, we exhale on the lift. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. From the side, everything is the same. Posture, chest out, shoulders back, stomach tight, chin up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Again, I'm coming with the dumbbell, shoulder high and back down. I do that on each side of the body. Another raise that I can do, if you wanted to add this one as well, is the front lateral raise. I put the dumbbell right on my thigh, and I do the same exact thing. Back down. Back down. I can work this shoulder high or all the way up and down. Again, these are very solid workouts. Just make sure you're doing a weight that's sound. Make sure you're doing a weight you can control, 15 reps minimum. If you can't do this 15 times, drop the weight. You'll progress and get to that weight that you had lifted at first. Trust me. Stay safe. You don't want to hurt yourself. Get through the workouts, educate, learn how to do everything. Then you'll have the entire mastermind to be able to formulate these workouts. Again, I've been doing this 18 years. I'm giving you these tools, answering questions. I'll have more answers for you on the Facebook group. This is the correct way to train your body and stay safe so you can do it for the long term. Always breathing, drinking water, resting when you need to, making sure you're doing the appropriate weight at all times. These 3 shoulder workouts are going to target the entire area from the trap to the rotator cuffs to the rear delts, which is the building base for my entire upper body. Body symmetry is what you're going to allow yourself to train. Chiseling yourself. Chiseling broad shoulders, nice controlled lats, good arms front and back, strong grip, strong forearms, nice solid lower back, which is going to make quality of life way easier. So train your lower back with the deadlifts and other variations that you have as you progress. Just make sure that you're doing the necessary breaks in between. taking your time, focusing on good form, controlling good weight. Again, do these workouts and you'll learn how to do them. Eventually these videos won't be necessary. Then you can just communicate with me straight off the Facebook group as you're already into your routine. Probably training other people. It's just a great way to remember, again, like I was telling you, is to train other people. This is correct stuff. I learned this stuff from professionals. I've been in plenty of seminars, plenty of hands-on experience training lessons, years and years and years and years and years of experience. So I'm giving you the tools to keep things basic. The basics never go out of style, trust me. All these crazy workouts you see people do, the basics build that foundation. So establish yourself first. Again, this is your blueprint, foundation to the house. Make sure the frames are strong, then you can start to build your mansion around it. So drill these movements, make sure that the form is number one, breathing is number 1A. So take your time, run through them. This is your second workout. Again, it's the same guidelines. You're gonna do 2 sets of all of them. As you progress, you can add that 3rd set. Start with 15 reps, then from there you can start to play around with adding more weight, less reps, or vice versa, strengthening the rest periods if you want to do it in a more circuit style, which is how I do it. I always go straight through with no rest breaks unless I really need to take a rest. I don't give myself time to rest breaks because I'm not going for muscle mass. I'm going for lean muscle and muscle endurance. So learn them, try them out. The next one we're going to focus on the legs. So make sure you stretch good. Make sure that you rest because you're going to be tired and fatigued if you're doing these workouts every single day back to back to back. Not to mention with the strap ones. So take your time. This doesn't have to be done in 11, 13, 12 straight days. Take your time, space them out. Educate yourself. It's gonna be fine. I'm not going anywhere. I'm your friend till the end. It's like Chucky from Child's Play. So, check them out, and then I'll see you on the one when we hit the legs, but don't rush it. Don't go there tomorrow if you don't have to. Take your time, run them through. All right, we'll see you over there.